This is a Facebook post I created at the hospital this morning, and I shared it with the doctor and nurses and several people up there. I wanted them to go through and read it. It's kind of a little short history, and I'm gonna make a video out of it and post it to YouTube and TikTok so other people can see it too. But basically, the header starts with, yesterday the kidney doctor said something to me about bipolar, and I quickly told him I have no mental disease. Those were lies told about me to cover up the crimes. And I talked to him today about that, and he told me, he said, I got that from the chart. And then I figured he did. It was from, it was when I was shot, basically, is when they were smearing my name, and that's never been cleaned up, is what the deal is. And so it's still there. So the life-destroying lies that have followed me around for the rest of my life, and that's what I'm working to clear my name. Okay. I put these comments in here to show you that this clears my name right here. This is to clear my name. I reported my first burglary in November 2010, and Officer Tony Corson wrote that I was a possible 1096, which means mental patient. At the time, I was a 27-year company man, granddad, and homeowner that had noticed somebody had been inside my home. A sliding glass door was found open that wasn't open for months. Nobody was in the attic that time. Corson is now the Midland Internal Affairs officer. Okay, so I'm just telling you, that was my first call for a police, and right off the bat, they called me possible 1096, and the one that did it is now a Internal Affairs officer supposedly investigating police corruption. I believe he's corrupt. My second comment, I reported my second burglary in January 2011, and that was the first time I heard somebody in my attic. That same officer, Corson, came to my home, refused to go up into my attic and look, and at this time he stated as a fact that I was 1096. Did I mention he's now the Internal Affairs Sergeant investigating police corruption? That's really important. Like I said, if I report these police for police corruption, I would be reporting it to Tony Corson, and he's the one that was calling, he calls crime victims crazy. That's what's happening. A year later, on January 28, 2012, I was ambushed and shot with my phone lines cut by somebody under my home with burglar alarms going off in the attic. I had installed these alarms to prove these crimes were going on. Evidence was later found showing that a burglar was trapped in my bathroom that day. I had been shot during the commission of a felony, which was burglary of a habitation. They could have turned themselves in, the trapped burglar, but instead they chose to try and kill me and make it look like an accident. In 2019, evidence was found showing that at least 5 Midland police officers, Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale, were under my home that night. Somebody under my home had chosen to try and murder me inside my home. We don't know if it was the police that tried to murder me, but obviously the police do. The police are part of it. They were under my home that night. They were helping cover up this premeditated murder attempt. The police tampered with the evidence, falsified the police reports, and falsely claimed that I'd shot myself with a 12-gauge shotgun, and I was crazy because I believed that people were in the attic. See, that their whole case is built on the fact that they're calling me crazy because I believe people's in my attic. Okay, and here's the next one. Back then, all I had was this crazy story, but that isn't the case anymore. Now I've documented over 50 other homeowners reporting people in the attic, with more than a dozen in Midland, another dozen in Odessa. That's the tip of the iceberg. This is going on all over the country, but it's been hidden from the public by our police and by our press. Many of these other homes were calls that I recorded from my police scanner. They've been calling all the crime victims crazy to cover up this organized crime of burglary, theft, and murders. I put a video called People in the Attic, 2 minutes. It links back to YouTube, and that's the video of the police scanner calls. If this person called, reported somebody in the attic, that person called, and the big point of that is, if I'm crazy, everybody's crazy, and what they're doing, they're doing the same thing to each victim. Like, one victim calls and says, I got somebody's in my attic. They go over there and they act like that's the only person in the whole world reporting people in the attic, and they call them crazy, and then they'll do it to the next one and the next one and the next one, and the press hides it from the public, so the public doesn't know that these are common crimes going on all over the place. Okay, and the police know about it and the press know about it, and so that right alone proves I'm not crazy. Okay, that isn't all though, because I've also documented multiple people saying that tunnels and underground homes are here, and found evidence on old Google Maps. I recorded a lady telling me where there are 4 3-bedroom, $1 million underground homes, and then they've been having pedophile parties down there. It looks like one of them is in my backyard. And I put a link to a video called $1 Million Underground Homes. That is the phone call where the woman told me that they were at, about gave me the details. 4 3-bedroom underground homes, 25 foot deep, having pedophile parties. It's in that video phone call. Another lady told me she worked on this underground safe house project that was completed in 1987 with a budget on permit of $7.35 million. She said it was put in for the Bushes, who are from Midland. I was told that the city accidentally destroyed all permit records after I was shot. Okay, and so the records where she says, yeah, it was on permit. We got a record, and they got deleted by the city of Midland. During the election for Midland Sheriff, after Gary Painter died, I was talking to Joe Lozano, who was running for sheriff, and he told me the underground homes was the hideout for Sheriff Gary Painter. I was secretly recording him. He didn't know it. This video went viral, but it was hidden from the voting public by our press. It's called Sheriff Painter's Hideout. And that's where a candidate running for Midland Sheriff is recorded saying that our last sheriff used to hide out in these underground homes that multiple people have said were here. One of them is in my backyard. Moving on. In October 2010, my friend Angie McGee Hurley told me about a young girl that was murdered at an oil show party for refusing to prostitute. Angie was leaving my home and at the parties in 5 minutes, and I know this because we talked on the phone while she drove there. I believe she parked in the Home Depot parking lot, went underground somewhere in that store, and then went to the underground home in my backyard here via a tunnel that I found on old Google Earth maps. The parties and murder happened there or at one of the other 3 underground homes. Remember, I told there were 4 of them. I tried to get Angie to report this murder, but she was afraid and told me that high-level police were at those parties. I believe one of those high-level police was the late Gary Painter. In 2019, I showed Homeland Security where the human trafficking murder tunnel was located behind the Home Depot store, and 2 weeks later, concrete was poured, but I got it on video. Keep in mind, Homeland is supposed to take care of human trafficking, and it looks like what they're doing is pouring concrete to assist human traffickers that are murdering little girls and forcing them to prostitute. That's what it looks like. Met with Homeland, now they're pouring concrete. Got proof video. Okay, these are some comments. Here's my next one. Aaron Peckelhofer, owner of Eccentric Brewing, asked me if I knew the names of the 4 people who had been murdered, died in my house, but I didn't. A former neighbor, Marilyn DeLugie Love, I think she lives in Lubbock now, told me twice that Mike Lawhon died here, but his death certificate says Fort Worth. The Odessa American posted death notice saying he died in Fort Worth, but then 4 days later they posted a revised death notice saying he died at his residence, confirming what Marilyn told me. I believed he was killed here and taken to Fort Worth. The Odessa Oil Show parties, 2008 oil show and parties started the following week. And obviously they were having the parties in the underground home in the backyard of this home. Okay, and so he died the week before those parties started. The widow, Mike's widow, Sarah Lawhon, dropped the price an amazing $35,000 and offered this home to me. And I bought it. I was later told that I was chosen to buy this home, which means that Mike was chosen to die, as in capital murder. I believe that Mike is one of the 4 that Aaron asked me about. Okay, and so there's a video for the murder of Mike Lawhon, the previous homeowner. So I believe they killed the guy that lived here before me, and actually I was told they killed 4 people, and before I even got here. Then they tried to kill me. Okay. Rini Escobar Sanchez was reported missing from Odessa 3 months before Mike died, and I've wondered if he was one of the other ones Aaron asked about. And I just put the link to the video, but that video will have some information in there that should get you thinking that maybe this is one of the other people that Aaron was talking about. So basically, if you're real law enforcement, then you can real quickly figure out that somebody under my home shot me. There are underground homes here. They were having parties there. Tony Corson is dirty. Okay, we did have police under my home on the night that I was under home shot me. We do have police that tampered with evidence, falsified police reports. I wasn't shot with my gun. They tried to make it look like I was, and all this is backed up with all this evidence. It's the proof, and any reasonable person can figure this out, and that's all we need, because it can't be allowed to keep breaking into homes and killing people. This Buddy Webb, y'all please share this, and before they break into another home, kill another person. This is Buddy.